Pillar 4, you are what you eat. How many times have you heard that? Why? Because the food that you eat is what creates the body and builds the body, which is why if you don't eat, the body just eats itself and deteriorates until nothing's left and you die. Don't do that. We want to eat, but what do we want to eat? Foods that are going to, well, increase your productivity. Let's break down some of those basics of what that looks like. There's a reason this axiom has been around forever. Diet is our fourth essential pillar for optimal productivity because the food you eat affects your body and mind in such an intimate way. The Bhagavad Gita, which is an ancient literature that we'll refer to throughout all of our trainings, it's only 5,000 years old. That's it. This Bhagavad Gita talks about all of the aspects of one's nature and one's self, or the unit of consciousness, the soul. It also talks about nature around us and material matter, as well as the nature of divinity. When we're talking about the Bhagavad Gita, we're usually referring to certain areas and aspects of it. I would encourage you to read the whole thing. If you're not sure which one to read, just check out our book suggestions and resources there. The Bhagavad Gita compares the body to a vehicle in which the soul resides. Can you imagine what would happen if you never did the recommended maintenance to your car? What about putting the wrong kind of gas in it? How's it going to run? Not very good. In the same way, if we aren't putting high quality fuel into the body and listening to its cues in order to perform the recommended maintenance schedule, it is not going to perform very well for us. What to speak of being productive. Part of our monk mindset is viewing the body as a sacred temple, a vessel of service. The body is a divine gift that could be taken away at any moment. We may be in it for a few days, weeks, months, years, decades, maybe a century if you're lucky. We don't know. We don't know how long we're going to be in the body. In any case, so long as we're residing in these bodies, it's our duty to do our best to take care of them so that we have the energy to engage them in service, which is ultimately the purpose of everything we're covering here, is to be of service, to be able to contribute and change the lives of others. So developing a healthy relationship with food and eating is one of the greatest gifts that we can offer to ourselves and others. Ayurveda suggests that you are what you digest, a slight modification here, because there's a lot of food that you eat, but your body does nothing with it. It just goes right through you. We are talking about you are what you digest, and it's a little bit more nuanced. Food is classified by its effect on the body and mind rather than its nutritional value alone. The focus is on digestibility, which refers to how easily the body can process and absorb the nutrients from food. This is important because even if a food is nutritionally rich, if it's difficult to digest, it can lead to a buildup of toxins and cause digestive issues. What's speaking just going right through you. If you'd like an example of this, if you've ever eaten corn, you'll notice it looks the same way as it came out as it came in. Gross. Sorry. I know. But like, you're trying to tell me you got any nutritional value from that piece of corn that's still whole on its way out. Wrong. You're not just what you eat, you're what you digest. Just a little nod to chewing. Go ahead and chew. It's going to make everyone's life a little bit easier if you just practice chewing up your food. What we're talking about here, according to the Ayurvedic perspective, and again, if you're not familiar with it, don't worry. Check out the resources that we have in our training. You could always just message me the word Ayurveda, and we'll send you tons of resources on that as well. We're primarily looking at here, again, balancing our doshas, or the imbalances that are there. One of the importance of digestibility over mere nutritional value, Ayurveda teaches us that we eat with our mind and emotions just as much as we eat with our mouths. So when we're talking about our diet, we're not just talking about the food that comes in, we're also talking about the other information that's coming in through our senses as well. To the extent that we are centered mental and emotional state when we are eating our food, we experience healthy digestion and nutrient assimilation. And when our digestion is strong, we will have consistent energy, a balanced mood, and therefore a productive capacity. If you're not digesting your food, you cannot be productive. Your mind is going to be so consumed. Your body is focusing on trying to digest this food that's very hard to digest. Similarly, to the extent that our physical digestion is strong, our minds and hearts will be supported to digest the different experiences that we have in life and assimilate stress in a way that we can learn from it rather than be harmed from it, because stress is not a bad thing. It's just when you are not managing stress properly that it becomes a bad thing. Stress is the only way things get done in this world. So we're big fans of stress. We're just big fans of using stress properly and managing it in such a way that it doesn't become debilitating, but rather it becomes empowering. In short, how we digest our food reflects on how we are digesting life experiences. This is why even modern science refers to the gut as the second brain. When digestion is weak, we are unable to fully process experiences. That stress, when it gets stored in the body, it's going to be processed at a future time. And this is called trauma, typically. There's a much bigger area we get into with trauma, but in simple, this is what we're going to be referring to when we talk about trauma. And the body can only store so much trauma before it starts to break down, and all these other negative effects start to come of it. So we're talking about the digestive fire, or the heat or strength or the digestive ability that allows us to break down foods and assimilate and transform it properly. Here are a few simple tips to ignite that digestive fire that inspires your body to better digest physically, and therefore your mind and heart to better digest your emotions, which will relate to higher productivity. Eat your meals at approximately the same times every day. This will teach your body to trust you. It will then secrete the proper digestive enzymes at the right times, because it will have an idea of when the meal is coming that it needs to digest. If you don't know where to start, try something around these times. It really depends on your body, but in general, if you played around with these times, you'll probably find something close to it. 8 a.m., 12:30 p.m., 6:30 p.m., something like that for your 3 meals a day. Do not skip breakfast. We have a whole breakdown on fasting that we get into, but do not skip breakfast. Your body is going to notice a difference here. Ayurveda suggests that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Actually, I think even in the West, they say that. Modern research agrees. In 2016, the scientific journal Advances in Nutrition published a study found that eating breakfast, especially one high in protein, can improve cognitive function and regulate emotions. Otherwise, you're just putting your body into the sympathetic nervous system response until it eats, and that fire is building. And then by the time you actually eat, your body then snaps back. This often causes a big dip in the middle of the day where you get exhausted later. Make sure you're eating breakfast. It doesn't have to be big. If you don't have a strong digestive fire, just eat something small, but get the metabolism started in the morning. Eat whole, fresh, seasonal cooked foods. We suggest a plant-based or vegetarian diet for various reasons. More reasons than we could list on this page. It's very simple. You don't need dead animals to live. As somebody who's never eaten a dead animal in my life, I think, doing just fine. You don't need it. There's no benefit to it. Better to live a life of compassion, because that's going to affect the mind in a positive way as well. If you can't be vegetarian, no problem. Do your best to minimize animal products, because the cool thing is, if you don't need something, why waste your time, energy in doing that? There's no efficiency in that. What to speak of then? You get to not have to harm or kill living entities unnecessarily. Try it on for size. If you need help with going veg, just let us know. We're at your service. Again, as somebody who's never touched a piece of meat in my life, never have I digested a piece of meat ever, I can tell you this has been one of the most positively impactful areas of my life development. A lot of people would ask me when I was younger, how have you been able to be so successful at such a young age? I attribute it to the nutrition, and the biggest aspect of my nutrition has been following a plant-based diet, primarily vegetarian. When I say plant-based, I really refer to an ahimsa diet, or a non-violent diet. So we have a lot of cows we like to take care of. We'll take that dairy. Anyway, that's another discussion. You can go check that out more in our Ayurveda course. How you eat is just as important, if not more, than what you're eating, because if you are totally stressed out while you're eating, of course your body's not going to be able to digest the food. So make sure you're eating sitting down. Don't be laying down on your stomach, or what speak of upside down, or going for a run and eating. Your body's not going to be able to digest that very well. Make sure that you take a couple deep breaths, settle in the body, relax the body, go into that rest and digest, that parasympathetic nervous system response. Be sure to meditate. We're going to get back into this shortly. Meditate on the beauty and divine gift of all the ingredients that combine to make this meal. It's a gift. That's what it is. Lean into as much gratitude as you can. Appreciate everyone that was a part of the process to bring in that meal to the plate. Try this on for size. Not only is it going to make you digest better and you're going to feel better, but you're going to feel happier in your life with this meditation. Pray and utilize the energy you gain from that food in uplifting service to others. To yourself and others. Keep mealtime conversations light and positive. Don't be talking about these crazy things or watching a horror movie where your stomach's just no bueno. Do your best to not multitask too much while eating. Just really focus on the food so your body has as much information as it can to properly digest it. And then just eat until you're slightly full but not stuffed. Don't overeat. It's one of the easiest ways to have a bunch of health issues in your life is overeating. Avoid eating foods that are going to be too heavy and lethargic. What to speak of overeating. The easiest way to gauge it is you'll notice your stomach has a space for liquids, solids, and air. When you start to overeat, when the body is processing too much, when the stomach's processing too much food, what happens is, or filling up too much, you should say, the air in the stomach gets pushed out, and if it gets pushed upwards, that means the stomach is full. The first burp is indication, slow down, Bronco. The second burp is indication your body say, okay, I'm full, calm down. This is an easy way for you to start to test. And what to speak of, if you're drinking water or drinking liquids while you're eating, you're going to burp sooner or more because when you're drinking while eating, what happens when you pour water on a fire? Anyway, again, we get much more into that in our courses here. So, in summary, if you eat right, you can think good. If you eat good, you can think good. You're going to think right and optimize your mindset to drive your productivity and show up to your business with your full potential, and you deserve that.